looking at, what we're going through right now, and I want to give you 7 steps to create momentum in crisis. Okay, 7 steps to creating momentum in times of crisis. And I made a few notes today as I did my morning rituals and meditation, but I wanted to give you some information. So, number one, define what it is that you want to create. Okay, define what it is that you want to create, and that can be in any area of your life, whether that is real estate or whether that is your business life, whether that is your personal life, family life, relationships, your spiritual development. Define what it is that you want to create and get very, very specific. I want you to focus on this and get very, very detailed on what it is that you want to create over the next 30, 60, 90 days or the rest of 2020. You can really examine and look at what that is for you. So define what it is that you want to create, make a list, get very specific, and ask yourself, what do I need to do in order to create it? What is currently getting in the way of me creating what it is that I wish for and that I desire? And what must happen in order for me to have the evolution that I want to experience in 2020? So that's number one. Define what it is that you want to create. In terms of defining it, put on the blinders and avoid the outside influences that aren't serving your highest self. Put on the blinders and avoid the distractions and influences that are not serving your highest self. So many people have opinions right now. Look at, the elements of the law of association. Who are you surrounding yourself with the most, whether it's online or offline, and avoid the distractions and opinions of people that aren't going to serve you at the highest level. Number two, clean up and detach from your past. Clean up and detach from your past. Let's look at this from a real estate perspective only. Common story that I talk to with my one-on-one clients, people inside of my company, or those that I observe, are that they are very, very attached to the past. Okay, they are attached to the things that are now out of their control. They're attached to what could have happened if COVID-19 didn't set in. Perhaps they were having their best quarter ever. This storm, came to fruition, and all of a sudden they're attached to what was happening rather than looking at the future and placing a high focus on the present. When we attach to the past, we ultimately limit our potential. When we attach to the past, we limit our potential. You've heard me say it many, many times. The victim mindset dilutes the human potential. So we've got to take a look at what was, we've got to accept what has happened, and we have to adapt. We have to stop resisting what is currently going on, accept it, embrace it for what it is, and adapt, make change, and move forward. Okay, so don't stay in it. Number three, get out of your comfort zone. Okay, this is a time to get out of your comfort zone, both personally and professionally. Whether that is elements of content creation and doing something different, whether that is evaluating your systems and processes, whether it is doing a deep-rooted personal and self-discovery in order to understand why you may not have been creating what it is that you truly have the potential to do, both inside and outside of business. Get out of your comfort zone, because when you create a little bit of contrast, when you get your back up against the wall a little bit, and when ultimately you step outside of that comfort zone, you're going to create the opportunity to expand. Remember what we talk about in terms of that teachability index and some of the principles we've covered, learning from the experiences of others rather than just our own. Determining how we can learn from the others in order to have a new experience, and how well we implement changes in thought and action. If you want to be a high performer, you've got to act like you're already there. So get out of that comfort zone, unlock those self-defeating and limiting beliefs, okay? Number four, prepare for what is in the future. Prepare for what is in the future, okay? Have you really understood and reflected on some of the lessons that have presented themselves to us both as a collective and individually. Okay? Have you done the deep rooted work to prepare for where you want to go next? And are you ready for new opportunities? Are you ready for new outcomes? Is your business built and is it ready for a new normal in terms of the success that you desire and deserve? And a great question to always ask, am I for real? Okay, am I for real? That's a tough one. Okay, am I walking the talk or am I just staying in a place of theory? Am I walking the talk or am I staying in a place of theory? And you can correlate that into your associations as well. Am I surrounding myself with people that have walked the talk, that have had a result that I desire? Or am I focused on people with opinions that really don't matter? Am I focused on or training with people that haven't done this sort of work? Am I focused on the theorists that really aren't going to serve and support me? Instead, they might possibly be one of my biggest distractions. Okay, so is all of that in place, and are you prepared for what is in the future? Get rid of those distractions. Number 5, keep moving forward. Okay, if we want to create, sustain, and build momentum, we've got to keep moving forward each and every day. Don't just wait for the momentum to come to you. That's why I look at the elements of a multi-dimensional, multi-streamed element of real estate business. Okay, it is wonderful if you have had a successful high-level business built on working by referral in your database. I do too. Okay, I will share some of the principles, some of the tactics, some of the things that we're doing with our sphere of influence right now to achieve some abundance. However, if you only have one stream of your real estate business right now, could you be limiting yourself in terms of creating abundance when things are a little bit scarce? By implementing different forms of predictable business cultivation, by implementing different forms of lead generation strategies, by implementing different systems and processes to create multiple streams of real estate income, you're going to create abundance in that time of scarcity. Let's move back to the real estate code, the 4 pillars of real estate productivity. Number 1, your foundation. Number 2, predictable business cultivation. Number 3, back-end systems and processes. And number 4, assessing, leveraging, and scaling. Okay, all require you to stay on that linear path of moving forward rather than what is the normal circular energy inside of real estate, which is very karmic in nature. You've heard me go on and on and on about karma. You know, what kind of real estate karma are you currently creating? Every action has a outcome, whether it's a positive or negative outcome. Most realtors right now go in a very circular manner. They take some action because they learn a new idea or strategy. They start getting a result because they're doing the work. They stop working on their business because they're so focused in the transactional inner part of their business or in their heads, okay? And the cycle starts to develop, peaks and valleys inside of real estate. Dharma, on the other hand, is a very linear path. That is the path of purpose. That is where we put impact before profits. That's where we have to make the next right choice after the next right choice in order to achieve a result, okay? Focus on Dharma. Focus on step by step doing the next right thing after the next right thing, and very, very high focus to the authentic version of you, which requires transparency, vulnerability, and integrity. Treat this as a massive opportunity in a place of universal grounding and stop trying to control the uncontrollable, okay? Control what is actually the only thing that is able to control, which is yourself, okay? Blinders on, stop trying to control what's going on in the outside world, okay? That is where we are seeking power from external circumstances. Step into your own personal power today. Step into your own personal power and focus on the inside experience. Understanding what it is that you can do right now that is within your control to have a different and desired outcome. Number 7, get relentless about your future. Get relentless about your future. That could be a high focus in your personal, spiritual, or health development, but ask yourself, what must happen right now in order for me to make changes? And remember, change doesn't happen over time. Circumstances do. right now we are in a circumstantial experience. Okay, change happens in an instant. Change happens in the instant that you make a choice, you start moving in a different direction. But it requires a high state of awareness to stay on that linear path. That's where we talk about goals. They're nice and ideas in theory, but actions mean we are committing, we are disciplined, and we are seeking excellence. Okay? Your intentions, which are your goals, must align with your actions. Okay? Ask yourself, how am I going to stay accountable to my goals? Okay, how am I going to implement these actions in order to stay accountable to my goals, to my family, to my health, to myself? How can I commit, and what discipline is required? Okay, consider the message that you're giving out in terms of the relentless aspects of your future. And don't be a yo-yo in your messaging. Okay, the world needs leaders right now. We as realtors, we as team leaders, we as broker owners, we are all leaders in one way or another. We as, family members can be leaders. Okay, we don't want to go back and forth with our messaging, especially if we're putting it all over social media right now. So those are 7 steps. I'm going to break this down in a report for you sooner than later, but I wanted to bring those to you today because I think that it would support you. So again, 7 steps to creating momentum in a time of chaos. Have a great day.